Hello everyone. For the first session post noon, we have two speakers. We have Milind Joshi, Manager R&D, and we have Kunal Ghate, both from Forbes Marshall.
So at a minimum, we'll keep you all awake. Okay. What I have tried to always do. Okay, I was hearing a comment Kunal mentioned at lunch that quite a few from manufacturing, by the way, manufacturing industry, fabrication industry, forging industry, elastomers industry. Very happy to see you all because by and large, otherwise in engineering industries, this is a neglected area. Forbes Marshall, thanks to Naushad Forbes, started back in 1990s. That's why probably we are here presenting to you all with what the company has been doing overall. We are only a part of it. A comment that I heard Kunal shared with me was that हमारे लिए यहाँ क्या है? Okay, so hopefully in this session you will be able to relate to that more. So no negatives, but what has happened? We have visited quite a few design industries also in the past, or design colleges, and if it is not mass producible, if it is not consumer good, and if it is manufacturing engineering oriented, it is not design, is how it is looked at. Let's try to change that notion.
So good afternoon. Yeah, so it's always a challenge after lunch, but after we had wonderful sessions from Professor Atwankar and Suresh Sethi, this is in continuation with the so-called need finding process or involving customers or consumers, users in different industries into the product development process. And we'll try to touch upon how part of it, so how to do it. We know that we got a huge consumer insights that went into product development, but we'll try to see if you want to start doing some kind of need finding or then post need finding, what to do about the observations. So what to do, how to do, and that can be a takeaway for one of the questions was for the startups. Maybe few of the takeaways could be for you to just go back and start and see if it results in something. So it will be like need finding, how to observe. We have few Forbes Marshall case studies which are from the manufacturing engineering background, how we added value by getting customer feedbacks and insights. So we normally see that companies fail to deliver value to the customers because they don't understand the users, what they want. They don't fulfill the promises, what they have made to the users. Users are unable to find how to implement, how to use the products, and there is a lot of frustration. Reasons are different, but ultimately it boils down to the value that we create to the customers. But there are, on the other hand, look at this. You have Zoomcar, you have Urban Ladder. These are all startups now developed into million businesses. Zoomcar, for example, it's surprising to know that two Americans who are students of MBA, they just felt a need that there is a huge potential in Indian market for self-driven cars. And then they had a huge need finding study, and now they have over 1,000 cars, which is well established business started by two Americans in India. So when we say about getting to know the users, who the users are different under different contexts. There is target set of users that we want to focus on in order to add value. Such similar example we had. Now hospitality industry is one of our key customers, and 5-star hotels over the countries and abroad are our customers. So this is just one example wherein we have different levels of customers. We have owner, we have general manager, we have supervisors, director of engineering, and while they purchase a product from us or while we design products for them, each of these levels have different needs. The owner is mainly into cost, at what cost we are getting, who are the competitors. Then general manager is responsible for the execution. Then director of engineering is the key technical guy who takes all the decisions. There is supervisor who makes sure that product is running. Then there are operators who work with nuts and bolts to make sure that daily products are on always on and they deliver results. So when we start to develop products for such industries, so many questions come to our minds: at what cost, for whom, why are we doing this? And all the answers are the need finding, or if we identify needs, we can answer most of the questions. So when we see need, what is a need? Need is basically anything that user wants, consumes. need. Professor Atwankar mentioned that, even Suresh Sethi mentioned that users decide on purchasing a product or using a product based on their emotions, but throughout their life they try to justify it rationally. So it is very difficult and challenging to gauge the emotional side of the need finding or the rational side of the need finding, because we should understand that need is a verb and not as a noun, and we should always take need as a verb. When we understand that need is a verb, then we actually try to create values and ask more questions.
Yeah, Kunal, and just to say,
Yeah.
so the emotional part of it. Now in engineering manufacturing, what emotions, right? So if my steam boiler is going to sit in a corner, what emotion do I have? I don't have too many, okay? And as he mentioned in the hotel example, there are 5 or 6 levels of people engaged in that buying decision, okay, or interaction decision with that product. So supposing it's a boiler, then the operator's interactions are very different. The utility manager is always worried about what's the best fuel efficiency I can give, okay? The purchase manager is trying to do his best in 3 quotations, what's the best price I can get, right? And the owner, if he is a owner-driven company, he is different owner. If it's a public limited company, it's a different owner. So these are the people we are trying to, so who's the user is not a simple answer. That's what we are trying to say. And that's what we are discussing with Professor Atwankar in the break also, that who do we talk to and how do we talk to these guys? Because the examples that are normally cited otherwise, okay, very simple, a fridge I have at home, right? A boiler I cannot. And then how do I do? So that is the challenge that we are posed with. So elastomer industry, I don't know, somewhere sitting here, Bharat Forge sitting there, okay. Who has any emotional attachment? Forgings, I don't know. But that is the challenge. But still, what and how we have tried to do is, that's what we are trying to cover.
Yeah. So why this need finding is important? Because it gives us consumer insights which can be taken into product development. It reduces shorter product development time, time to be in the market, compete with others. Normally we see that everyone in the team, whether it is engineering or purchase or design team, we have certain notions. We try to prove ourselves that this feature is important for the user, and there are clashes. So if we do a proper need finding and identify what exactly user wants, it brings everyone to a common platform, and everyone then say that let's test it and then prove it, what's important for the user and what's not. Also it brings down the cost of repairs or afterwork, that product doesn't work, it doesn't suit the specifications, and again we have to go back and do something. So that involves a lot of cost and time which normally companies don't have. And if we follow this, definitely it results into product success and then ultimately revenues. So the need finding is very important part of the design process, which is very different from engineering design process. Most of us follow the left one, wherein someone tells us that this is the need, and then we quickly make some solution, then we make hardly 1 or 2 prototypes and then launch it with all technical things that didn't go well. We remove them, we try to refine the product, and then we sell. As against the user-centered design process or design thinking process, wherein it starts with empathizing with the user, getting to know what his requirements are, then define a direction, ideate, and then finally have multiple prototypes, again go back to the customer, test those prototypes, see if what we perceived, what we analyzed after need finding, does it go well with what the expectations are, and then make changes. And this is all important, and it happens because of observations. I won't go into this part, because observation, mainly the takeaway from this slide is observation. When we see, we have to just observe. We don't have to question, we don't have to communicate, we don't have to intervene in what their tasks are. Later on, we have enough time to go back to them, ask about them, why did they do this, what made them do that, what was the intention. But the basic thing is observation, and it has yielded many great results for us. I mean, we have a case study, rather multiple case studies. The first one is solid fuel boiler. Boiler is basically equipment which generates steam, which is used as a heating medium in most of the process industries. And yeah.
So boiler, you may not be aware that quite a few people who are associated with process industries, they know. But otherwise, all process industries, food, pharmaceuticals, beverages, clothing, garments, you name it and you have a boiler in there. Okay, that's how the boiler is percolated. The sizes of a boiler can be starting from maybe 2 refrigerator sizes 2 or 3 story building. Those are the sizes of the boiler. So you can imagine what kind of users and what kind of products are we talking. Okay. He is mentioning about observation. Saying that is very simple, that you go and observe. As a culture, as an individual, it's very difficult to keep mouth shut. In an engineering industry, if you can imagine that steam lines are going all over, all seems to be going fine. Then what do I observe? All seems to be fine when I go there. How many hours can I spend? How many days can I spend? Okay, let's watch this video. It's a small one. This is the wooden fire boiler, okay, and the wood is being fed into the boiler furnace. Now to capture this, you have to have an eye for this. You have to be lucky to have this happen in front of you, both.
This man does this job 8 to 9 hours a day, 365 days. And it's such a user pain. So there are multiple levels of observation that made us select the features that we wanted to design. Similarly, there is a rotary joint. Rotary joint, basically you have a paper industry or textile industry, and this sit on the dryers that roll the paper. This was a competitor product. We wanted to mount our product by removing their product as a prototype. But it took this guy 25 minutes, to be precise, to remove that product from that joint. I mean, it was so difficult. He tried n number of things, but it didn't work. And this simple observation actually made us redesign our end connection. We got to know how not to design the end connection, and that came as a very, very user-friendly option that we tried out, and then it became like in the product.
Another case study was a product. So engineering products, the guys would associate very well. If you look at them, they are outside sheds. They are not in the covered sheds. You don't have very many heat resistant paints available. This is a gas operated pump. Okay, it's not a centrifugal pump, it's a gas operated pump. This is typically located outside of process houses. Once the steam is utilized, the steam converts into water. This water is hot water. Quite a few industries throw this water away unknowing that I am throwing a useful utility which I am paying for, and it is hot water, which is the heat energy also I am losing. Two things. So this product does that job. The installation has to be as it is shown. So quite a few times, because the flow of the condensate is by gravity, they dig out pits. So this pit is like 6 or 7 feet deep, as you can see, and this pump is now inside. So on the ground it will look like this. When put in a pit, it will be like this. So in the rains, these pits also fill complete. Okay, the pump is underneath and it still have to work. It's not a submersible pump, by the way, but it still has to work. So that's the challenge we are working on. So if it is better designed and you have ground area, then this is the kind of location you can have. So what you see is on the top 2 black pressure vessels that you see with pressure gauges there, 1 and 2. So this is where the return condensate comes. That goes to the pump. Now this necessarily has to have head in between. So the condensate coming here has to flow by gravity into this receiver. So gravity is a must for this product. What do? The challenge was that the product, if it was closer to the process equipment, we can use the flash steam in a close by area. We can use hot condensate in a close by area. Otherwise, I am taking this out, and in that I am losing a lot of heat because your heat is continuously lost as you keep traveling. So that was the challenge that was seen.
Even look at the condition of the product, it's all rusted. So there is no insulation, no one bothers to look at these products. Wherein this is a much better example, wherein they have insulated, but this insulation is not in our scope. This makes the product all the more bad because the quality of insulation is equally bad sometimes, which our product is nearly lost. No one comes to know whether this is a Force Marshal product or some competitor's product. So all these observations came together for us to think.
So you saw that there was the flash vessel which was on top, and then by gravity it has to flow like this. So this plus this, we thought, why don't make it like this? Which is a very different animal in design terms, right? And 2 products combined together. We also realized that this was coming by convention. A lot of things get lost only because we get so habituated that even if someone tells us observe, we don't see because it's become a way of life for us. So how do we change and how do we see there is a problem? So what was done was these two receivers were clubbed together. So the top part of that product that you see there is this flash vessel part now, and the bottom part is the pump. It's all integrated. The inlet line that has to go is on the side, and it's completely insulated. The insulation is in the inside. You have a FRP covering on the top, which gives the Force Marshal brand identity also.
And we every time supply it as default. So the aesthetic value of the product has gone up. There are a lot of hassles that take place at the site of giving work to the contractors. They doing shoddy job, but that's now completely in-house, and it was not easy though. This is how the product.
So this is one installed on the site. The best customer feedback that you can have. This customer told us that, sir, whoever is coming to now my factory now, any customer, he's asking what is this product here because it's looking suddenly very different to all my steam environment. So that's one of the best feedbacks you can get for a product. What it has saved is the footprint. So if you can imagine the earlier photographs, these products were there. These were number of iterations. What we have showed is only a few. Lot of paper level sketches were done, fabrications were done, very fabrication intensive product. This is all pressure vessel design. This has to be designed to ASME section 8 class, division 8 section 1. So that's there. Look at the footprint. Because the footprint can be brought down so much, now this can be next to equipment. So this can be next to a paper dryer, to a textile VDR and such. And that's why it's now doing very well.
And since Force Marshal is into energy conservation, we got a very good story behind promoting this product. So marketing angle was also, marketing people were happy. They now sell this in numbers, and this product has picked up very well.
Another single example, similar example. So what has happened is there is a product called steam trap. What steam trap does is once this steam is utilized, I said that it gets converted to hot water because the energy is lost. Steam trap's job is to separate out hot water and steam. Steam has to be retained into heating area and water has to come out. That's the job of this fellow. So if you imagine in a plant, this is almost the last fellow. This is typically in trenches, so no one wants to look at it. And this product, by this principle, was invented about 100 years back. Okay, so somewhere around James Watt times, if you can think. So that since then, this has been by principle doing the same. We were challenged that, but in process industry, when you start up in the mornings, conditions are cold and you're starting up, so loads are high. So the condensate that is happening, condensation happening is very high. So you have initially high condensate loads, and later on the temperature as it is achieved, the loads drop. This trap, if it is one, it cannot. Either you size it for a higher condensate load or a lower condensate load. If you size it for higher, you end up giving bigger size of product. Okay, that was the challenge given, and that was the need seen, if you like. So what we did was internally, the mechanism was changed, and we have a patent on it worldwide, where same mechanism is now opening double the orifices. As a mechanical engineer, you cannot do it. There is a trick involved, and that's where the patent is coming from. Otherwise, that product wouldn't have lived 100 years of life by first principles. What we said was, having done this, if the product would look exactly the same, but then there is a great story inside. How do you communicate to the customer user that, Mr. Customer, something great has happened inside, and you need to appreciate that? So then ID team came into picture. What we said is also that a typical earlier application installation would need so many joints. So you can see threaded and welded joints, so many of them. All of this was converted to what you see on the right. Okay, so this strap is in here in this image, and this is the complete what we call trap module that we supply typically. This is all converted to a single product. So all functions of two isolation walls upstream and downstream, in case you want to repair that product online, you have two isolation walls. In that condition, you have to bypass the condenser that's happening. That's the third valve. And so all of that is packed together in one product. We have the design mark for this. We have
India design mark.
India design mark, and we have 6 countries universally applied. The key countries that are offer our interest, we have patents on this also.
So all these examples came out of observation and then trying to get back to the problem and do something to come up with some difference in the offering. So let's say how and what to observe. So the trick is AEIOU. It's very simple to remember. So A stands for activities. So when we go out in the field, we have to really keenly observe what activities people are into. What do they do normally? If they are present there for a shift, 8 hours, what they do? There are different activities that the roles changes during the day, and the activities also change. The second one for E for environment. Environment is the context. Like refrigerators, home was the environment. In our kind of industries, process industry is an environment. Hotel is an environment. So what do they do under that context? Because that context is responsible for their activities. How do they interact with different products? What's the frequency of using a certain product, a particular product? What do they neglect? How do they interact with people? What's the most frequent area that they visit? O for objects. How much technology savvy they are? Operator may not have a smartphone. The manager has a smartphone. Then his manager has iPhone, iPad. So we get to know that what kind of technology they are ready to work with. What gadgets do they carry? And this has given a lot of information to us about how to design software interfaces, which platforms, whether to give it on mobile or whether to design it as a desktop. And last is the user and the people. Many times we observe that information transfers from operator to the plant manager. Operator does all the writings in the logbook, daily parameters, what was the pressure, what was the temperature. Then he does something to that data and passes it on to the supervisor. Supervisor refines that data in a more elaborated way and passes on to the plant head, and he makes sense out of this, that what was the production, what was the loss, what was the profit. So there are information exchanging at every level. So we need to track that, how the information is, whether it is handwritten, whether it is through logbooks, whether it is software fed, Excel, what tools they use. And this gives a very good clue for us to again design products. So with this observation, there is a classical case study that most of us know. This was a great MRI machine designed by Doug Dietz with GE long back. And he and his team decided to watch this product first time getting utilized in an hospital. And they were shocked to see that one small girl who was supposed to do MRI, she was howling and crying. She didn't want to go inside because it was a very traumatic thing. And then it is known that children need to be sedated because the vibration, the noises, it's very traumatic. Even for elders it is, but definitely for children. And it was a shock to them that we have designed such a great product. They went back. All the funds were exhausted. The product was launched. The project was closed. But he could manage some of his team members to still work on it by applying some design thinking. They went for a Stanford course and came back. And then they designed this, which is very user friendly. They transformed the product into an experience called adventure, where the patient is in the lead role and even the assistant to the doctor, he is part of that adventure ride. He is supposed to do something, and it was a complete experience. And then they designed these two under these two themes, and results were completely opposite. I mean, they again went back to see, they realized from the doctors that sedation, the frequency and dosage has radically come down. Children want to come again. They heard some lady, some girl telling her mom that, shall we come tomorrow? She was very happy to come. So all these things they could achieve just because the users were in mind and they went back to the user. So anyone, what do you observe? This is a context that we have been talking about. Anything, anyone, what do you observe? Can anyone tell us? It's a marketplace.
Yes.
Okay.
Good start. Sorry? Okay, good.
Yes.
Right.
Chaos.
eBay.
Okay. Okay. How could you make that out?
Just watching, nobody is buying.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go on.
It's a mela kind of a market, like discount. All products are handicap.
Okay.
All products are handicap.
Yeah.
bargaining. Yeah. Okay, good. Some more. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So made in India. Oh, okay. So most of you could say something looking at the picture. Many of them were observations, many of them were interpretations. Someone is bargaining, just looking at the picture, we can't make out whether they are bargaining or not, but it's an interpretation. So as soon as we observe, a lot of interpretations come in our mind.
Yeah, so the design fraternity and the design students probably particularly made it a point that I am observing. Maybe some others did not. So interpretation, that's where the interpretation is coming. Bargaining, okay, someone said. So that's where you have to be wary that I am observing, I am not making any conclusions. I want to go with any preconceived notions. I really want to see, and I want to accept what I am seeing also, even if it surprises me.
So we have to avoid biases, we have to avoid assumptions. We have to make sure that when we go out in the field, we have 3 members with different perspectives. Often our professional background is responsible for our perspective. So no 2 designers, there needs to be a designer, engineer, or a purchase guy, or a marketing guy. So varied profiles, and that helps in observations. But I'm not saying don't interpret. We can interpret definitely, but interpretations have a larger role to play in the later part of the process. We need to master the art of just observing and documenting first. I want all of you to just read, I'll read it for you. Operator looks at the pressure and temperature readings on PLC. Then he looks at pressure and temperature gauges. And then he touches few surfaces. This was the observation which was evidently seen in many of our site visits. We'll get back to this observation. I just need you to keep that in mind. So now when we are in the field, we have to make sure, as there are a few thumb rules that we have been following, and that has helped us. We don't go in numbers to do a site visit or a need finding. We see to it that we are 3 with different perspectives, as I said, at the most 4. Everyone has a role to play. One is the lead interviewer who asks questions after observation. Second one is the recording guy who takes all, note-taking guy actually, who takes all the notes. The person who interviews should not be with any paper, pencil. He has to just concentrate, look with great eye contact with the user, and then ask whatever questions after the observation part. Because observation leads us to many questions, and that we need to get it clarified. The second person is note-taking. He or she has to document each and everything in customer quotes, preferably, because that have different interpretations which come out later. And the third one is recording. So when we are recording, it's very important for us to make the user aware that we are recording. I remember a situation wherein one of my colleagues, he was there to do a site visit. He had audio recordings, chupke se photo nikalne ka, what he's doing. He did all sort of things. He was very happy that yes, I could capture. And at last moment, that guy came to know that he has been intruding in his life. He took his mobile, he deleted all the photos. Not only those were clicked, he entirely deleted. It was very shocking. And the audios, what he had recorded, everything was just deleted. And that didn't give a very good impression of the company when we are representing our organization. So it becomes a negative point. So even if under different contexts, home users or any users, please make sure that the user knows that they are being observed and they are being recorded in whichever media. And then there are a few thumb rules for us to follow, that whenever we go, we have to make sure that customer sets the agenda. Customer is the one who is God. If he asks us to wait, we have been waiting. The director of engineering of different 5-star hotels have made us wait for hours, 2 hours, just doing nothing but their egos or whatever it is. It makes them happy. So yes, we are there for our purpose. We have to sit. We will wait. We have to ask open-ended questions. We don't have to ask questions which the answers are yes or no, because we want to get the communication going, interaction going. And then it happens that we talk 10% of in our industry it's a reverse way. When we go there, they have all sorts of complaints ready. अच्छा तुम आए हो अभी बैठो यहाँ पे यार ये नहीं चल रहा है वो नहीं चल रहा है ये गड़बड़ है तुम्हारा मार्केटिंग का नहीं आया वी हैव बीन ऑर्डरिंग प्रोडक्ट्स तो डिले हो गया so we have to make very a concrete statement in the beginning that all these problems will be heard later. We have come here for a purpose which was known to you. First we'll do the stuff, we will interview, and then you talk about, we'll spend half an hour or 1 hour for your complaints and we'll try to rectify those. So that's the thing.
So maybe because for us it's a continuous customer. It's not every day. No, it's not a new customer or consumer who's coming to us. It's the industry we are going to. We are in a B2B industry. So we go to the customer. Some division or other has sold something not working. So you have to be ready with for that. Listen, give a patient listening, then only immerse into it. As Kunal expressed, first watch. So what typically we do is before meeting the guy, we take a plant tour before going in and meeting him. Observe for ourselves what's happening in the plant, because then you are ready at least with some observations, and maybe if you can get hold of some data to share with him. And quite a few times it is seen that it even surprises him that you have come just now few hours back and you're coming with this data, which also can help in engaging.
And we have to use their terminologies. Many times it happens that we address some product or some system in our own way, but they have their nomenclatures, they have their styles of addressing those products, and there is great disconnect. So we have to learn their language. A paper industry visit has different sets of terminologies, different sets of equipments which are important to the user. The pharma has some different, so we have to, as you said, first being there, we know that yes, this is the context, these are the terminologies, this is how they interact, and then we go back to him.
Yeah, like a Surat guy, if I go to a Surat textile, I would definitely want to know कि कल कितना मीटर साड़ी बना. They are in meters of saris, right? So that's how they will measure. Dupatta, sari, that's how they measure.
And to remember all this, we have technique. We have a dedicated register. For example, when you open this, we maintain the left side to just note down all observations. We don't write any interpretation, just what we observe and customer quotes. The right side, what we have dedicated it for all our questions that arise once we don't know why they are doing this, why a certain user is behaving in this way, or he did something with the product. So all questions are documented on the right side. This becomes the basis of meeting them later and then asking and interacting with them. So we don't miss out on anything. So for example, as Professor said, that open-ended questions, it's very important. Given all the money, what would the ideal plant be? So the operators, literally the boiler operator, what we have been observing, he also has aspirations. He says that automatic होना चाहिए, मैं ये करूँगा, आज मैं ये काम करता हूँ, I don't like these works, even I'll sit on computer and do. So he has lot many things which he aspires to be, and then that we take that as an input in again developing mostly our software interfaces, how they are, their daily schedule, what do they do, what are the problems, how do they handle failures, and then expectations and lot more things. I mean, these are just examples. There are many others. And once we are done with all this, it's very important to the team meets the same day. We make it a point to meet and download our brain. What were the important information that we have? What are the interpretations? What made sense? What didn't make sense? What was important? How do the user relates to different products, different people? What are their relationships? What are their tasks, their priorities? All these questions are actually in this register that we carry, and we need to sit together as you had a different interpretation, someone had a different interpretation. So observation is one, but interpretations are many, and together we can come and select the right interpretation for us to take that as a clue and move ahead. So that is very important. And yeah.
Just to say that Professor Atwankar, I think you mentioned that this what the heck part, that what was unusual. It's very tough one to get, because normally whatever we might be saying, we are in that industry for so many years, having done the same job. We see the world in the same way. So it's very difficult, but if we can get this one right? What is it that was unusual? That's the one, probably that's the best hint that you can get out of this exercise.
And the best way to do is with Post-its. I'm sure most of you use Post-its. So Post-its are बहुत गुणगान है Post-its के. It has lot many advantages. We can cluster, we can remove them, we can store them, document it, preserve, we can again reuse with some different clustering. So whatever we document needs to be on Post-it, because we found lot many advantages. This is one of the charts that we did after a long 32 site visits that we did for a long exercise spanned across 6 months. And then we had, after every 6-7 site visits, we had this board wherein the color of the Post-its represent different sites. The white papers that we have are actual quotes of the customers, which were really interesting, and while debriefing, group found that as a very good clue to move ahead. And of course, these were arranged in a framework that we already had, wherein we try to fit our products. So this is a very good tool. And one more tool, I mean, supporting visual along with what you write gives a greater impact than just writing and trying to promote our idea or sharing it with people. So this is an A5 sheet. We make it a point that we have a title, we have a description and supporting visual. And we do write in capital letters, because cursive writing, sometimes it happens that third person comes and they don't understand what's written on it. So the capital, caps lock, bold letters with a visual exactly says what the idea is, and that can be taken later.
So simple things, but very crucial. So this is done probably post a few sites that are done, and we are sitting as a group to now try to ideate that, looking at this pattern that is emerging, what are the probable products that we can develop around. That's where it is just now.
So these were some of the examples that we had: a random need generation, need finding session, and then idea generation, and then we practiced, and now it has been a unwritten rule that everyone follows this. So let's come back to the observation that I had shared. So operator looks at temperature gauges, temperatures and pressures on the PLC, then he looks at the temperature, pressure, actual physical gauges, and then touches the surfaces. Any idea, is this observation good enough for us to develop or take clues to develop products? I feel there is something incomplete. Then so whenever we are in a fix, how to use observation, Viva analysis really saves us. So asking 5 times why. So why did he do that? Because to cross-check values, he wanted to make sure that whatever he senses out of the equipment is right. Why? Because he doesn't believe in values that the equipment shows. Again, why? Because there is a mismatch in what's seen and experienced. Either instrument is off or not working. And last, the instrument is not calibrated. So if you look at the first and last one, to cross-check values is a very obvious thing that anyone can interpret. Second one, the last one is the instrument is not calibrated. Okay, fine. I mean, there are people who calibrate your instrument time and again. But the middle three, why don't they believe in values that they see on the, especially the second one, what we concluded out of this was, how can we build trust in users so that they believe in our instrument, they believe in values that they see from our instruments, and that became a very good clue for us. We will be sharing case study for us to design completely new system, which is now like rolling. Yeah. And then last is minimum viable product. This strategy is for us to know what we shouldn't do, what customers don't want, and only go after which is really required. So it's a simulation of products with minimum features, bare minimum features which are required by the user, which makes sense to them, and not the entire offering, but done in a very professional way, as if it's a real product. So we had this case study of Eversense.
Right. So in spite of, we have this learning, right? We've got this learning formally, we've been practicing. In spite of that, when we went to site, what happens is that the urge is to come out with a great some product, okay? And we came up with this fantastic product, which could control probably whole of the world or whole of a hotel for that matter. So we were studying hotel industry that time. So we've been going. So what we said is we do that. So how do we do? So we're covering MVP just now. MVP stands for minimum viable product. Yes. So 2 minutes more and we'll finish. So what we have done is that instead of doing all that, to develop that product and test it out in the market, it's going to be impossible. So what we do is try to do at a minimum level, can I control parameters? So instead of giving him 50 parameter control, now I am giving a case study which is instrumentation and software related, even though what we earlier presented was fabricated. So this is software related. So what we did was we just created mobile applications. So Kunal, slide.
Yeah.
So what we did was these mobile screens were created, skins were created, and as if these were real on-time things, they were shown to the customers that this is how you will get the data shown to you. So there you will have different parameters of gas consumed, electricity, water. Keep going.
Yeah. And then you have a desktop.
Then we have the UI on the desktop if he wants to see. So on the go, if he wants to see on his smartphone, he can see that. On analysis, if he wants to sit on computers, this is what he can see.
So we did that for hotels, and it was highly appreciated by almost all the hotels, but people were not ready to pay. They didn't want to buy.
So
Because there were already present systems which they have invested hugely in, and that was becoming a hospitality norm across 5-star hotels. They were after those systems, and then it was a very huge offering that still even if curtailing down to so many features, it was a huge offering. So what we said was we'll just focus on a very small part. That another observation what we had earlier was how to reduce customer complaints about hot water, because the foreign guests and Indian, the 5-star hotels, they have a huge problem of they not getting hot water early in the morning for bathing. So this was a app that gave critical alerts about hot water issues before it reached the customers or the users' taps in their rooms. And even this didn't work because that was a very, very small offering, and they didn't want to have one more mobile with all the data coming to them. So we ran into different ballgames and finally decided that let's not target hotel industry, is not right for us. Let's target process industries, because there are many other needs of information overloading, no central monitoring, there are critical parameters, the critical responsibilities change, and then the user wants control, need for a flexible platform for analysis, and many more. They wanted force marshal to guide them. They didn't know what to do in most of the cases. So that concept we applied to generically across process industries. Mobile application was a new thing to us, and then we did this along with a interface which is highly flexible. All fields what you see are customizable. The backbone remains same. It can be applied pharma, fertilizers, food and beverage, everything, and then finally you can have what you want, what the customer wants as per his needs. So, and this we have been able to sell almost 50 to 60 such products in last 2-3 months after this was rolled out.
So this just to say that something may not work in an industry. So for example, when we went to a engineering director of one of the hotels, trying to sell him, each and every hotel director told us that fantastic product, guys, keep doing. Then we said, sir, yes, you will be the first one to buy. When are you going to place an order? No, we don't need this. That's the test of the real sale. Otherwise, you don't believe what they will keep telling you. This is a fantastic product. Otherwise, what we could do was, still we were in process industry, so we could convert that same philosophy. And in process industry, the users were totally unaware. They did not have anything that was coming to their PCs aside from their SCADAs. SCADAs they are well aware of, but not coming to their computers or their smartphones. That's where we could change the game.
So that's it. So we could summarize through case studies what the observation, why it is important, how to observe, basics of need finding, the post-its and half sheets, the style that we have adopted and benefited, and finally the concept of minimum viable product, which of course goes to understand before we invest what to do, how to do, for whom to do. So that's the piece.
Thank you. So we can take a few questions, I guess.
It's very heartening to see, all your effort, and it's really valuable that such effort happens in all types of industry. It's not only consumer, but engineering and pharma and all areas. In fact, it's also very good that now we have innovation centers coming up in all, even in pharma companies. Reddy Labs has started large innovation, activities. So it's really encouraging. So just how much, is it only because of your CEO or the chairman of Navsat Forbes, or, is that the very important aspect in a company that we need to go ahead with, or do you think that this can come also from bottoms up?
If you ask me honestly, it is one of the most driving force, very frankly. Because having said this is like trying to run a startup within a company. Even if Naushad Forbes is driving, we have a lot of silos that were mentioned. Within our company also we have the same. And to communicate this idea and drive it through marketing, sales, all such functions and get it to realization was a big challenge. Even within the company, having him driving this. What was, I can cite him saying, what happened in between was about almost 8 or 10 months, no one could pay attention. So we used to have high level board of director level meetings on this. How is it going, the project? Because this is a high level project. Okay. We expected a lot of revenues to come. We were working with, we had Stanford inputs coming. We had a US client who was helping us with this, US vendor who was helping with us. What was happening was everyone would have something to say. All the guys are experts and right in their positions. Okay. Where do you go with it? 8 to 10 months in between, something happened that we couldn't focus on that project. And the team kept on working and we could make a success of it. If it provides any answer to
In fact, my next question is, what is the total cost? Since you had all the data anyway through sensors coming in, or you had to also develop the backend for it, the hardware. So, what is the cost of the hardware to get all the data in, the sensors and all, and what's the cost of just software development?
Right. So fortunately for Forbes Marshall, what we have is we are into steam engineering as well as control instrumentation. So the knowledge is critical and that is all residing within the company. We also have a software division within. So the software was done, what you see is software was done by team within. We have ID team with us. So the look and feel of that product was done within. Coming to cost. So software algorithm, we have to run thousands of experiments on steam boiler, which we have in-house. And those number of experiments plus some site experience, that's where we wrote the algorithms. Okay. Coming to cost. If it is only software, it was a team of about 4 people working for about 6 to 8 months. That's the cost involved for this part of it. But before that, if you ask me, there were another 6 to 8 months where the team on this project was running around doing need finding, trying to verify if the MVP is working or not. In this industry, hotel after hotel, people are telling us, to the extent, one of the directors told us that hot water के लिए या critical 5 star है 7 star है, एक दिन कोई भी गेस्ट हो, एक दिन नहीं नया पानी से क्या होता है, नहीं मिला गर्म पानी क्या फर्क पड़ता है. Those are the feedbacks that you can get. So that's where we are. And that's where we saw that really it is not going to work it here. Let's change gears and let's go to process industry, which is where our forte is and could make it a success. So sorry, just to complete. SCADA, if people have, quite a few industries have SCADA where all sensors are connected and information is coming. For that, what you sell is only software. So then it's all price to us. It's all profit to us, if you like, beyond that.
Company which doesn't have in-house software,
Yes.
and all the SCADA was coming, what do you think could be the cost? Because I'm guessing some price, but I'm not sure. Because
The price range, what we have made offers.
to get something onto the mobile.
So it's 1.5 lakhs to start with. Okay. And to biggest of the industries where we have to connect number of sensors and do analysis and then provide with a control panel coming in between, we have quoted up to some 20 lakhs per offer also. So that is the range. Because this is really a very flexible product.
That's selling product price.
Selling price.
But I'm still asking you about the, cost of.
You are asking for
I know, it's
confidential information.
I know. But it's like, I just have to also observe, very important is like such type of projects when you do in-house, it's actually much, much better than outsourcing, because outsource anyway has to take all the input from in-source.
Absolutely.
And then you lose a lot of time and a lot of effort. So today, actually, the call of the need for all of us is that things have to be on fingertips for everybody. So this industry is really going to boom a lot. And I think all of us, whichever industry we are in, we'll have to get into the mobile platform and get things done. So in-house, as you rightly see, they're not charged much. But if you do this like same type of work, if you are to really outsource, it costs anything around 1 to 2 crores.
It will be that. And
that range. But if you do in-house, it actually gets over in 20-30 lakhs.
Because
you can get the best team and put it together. And that type of complexity, I'm talking about the range, Forbes Marshall type of range. If we're a small company, we can even do it as low as 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. But if that type of company for the whole range, I was telling you the price. Just we need to understand that a lot of money has to be spent for us to be ahead of the market.
It has, yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm through. Sorry for the long question and answer.
Yeah.
We are the best in manufacturing sector. Yeah, we.
Actually, honestly, companies like Pope Marshall, Thermax, all this reflects from the leadership. As well.
It does, very much it does.
It reflects from the leadership.
It does.
That DNA is been incorporated in it.
The top-down, bottom approach definitely helps and motivates everyone.
Having said that, a lot of energy is required. I mentioned that even if it is Naushad Forbes who's driving, we have within the company, because this is like startup within a existing company, which is all the more difficult. Because in between we also spoke that if we were a startup, we would have ran after this and made it probably in half the time, because we would have exhausted out of resource and money that we would have had. Forbes Marshall had funding to cater to it continuously. Otherwise, as a startup, we would have finished it in half the time.
New product launches, how do you cope up with some failures that happen in the design part and the hardcore manufacturing part
Sure. So I can cite an example.
for
Yeah.
engineering design?
Yeah.
And the second thing is the engineering manufacturing is all about knowledge base, where the aspirational design does not come in like home appliance or mobile. So it's more driven by the data and the failure or fatigue or whatever,
Right.
especially in the process design.
Right. First question was on the failures, product failures. Right. So I started product development and launching from about 2000, and before that, my background is I was in manufacturing, fortunately, for 10 years. Then I was in tool room for 5 years. So I'm thankful today that I was there, because I can relate to what can be manufactured has to be known to a designer also. Because otherwise, what you design, you will end up later on seeing after 6 months or a year that it's not manufacturable. Coming to failures and site, what we now try to, I'll tell you first what we try to do and what has happened. Okay, so what happened? About 5 years back, we had a product launched. We had in-house, when we tested, it was going fantastic. This was one of the variants of this pump that I showed. All capacity testing great. Showed to sales team, marketing team. They are always in very eager. The capacity was doubling for almost like 1.2 times of the cost or price to the customer. They said, why don't you launch now very quickly, because we have customers waiting and we can just flood the market quickly. I was also eager, young R&D manager that time. So we launched. First 6 months, no problems. After that, one by one, failures started all over India, you can imagine. And it was a big problem for us. I would have had blood pressure starting that time. Fortunately not. What we did was, we took an honest call that wherever failures are coming, we knew the problem. After that, we took about almost till a month to figure out. Problem was very simple. That was a dual mechanism pump, okay? And I showed you the pit where it was mounted. The pits are never leveled in India. They used to sit at an angle. And the dual mechanism, one will get fed and the other would not. It was as simple as that. And when I tested in house, even the return pumps, I could not simulate. I was saying, what's wrong? It's working here, why not at sites? This was what was going wrong. We couldn't correct. We did another mechanism. Then we took a call that we'll replace wherever failures are happening. No questions asked, replace the product without any cost, at our cost. And that's what we did. And quite a few numbers. So that's the pain you have to go through. Having learned from that, what we now do is we do what we call early prototypes. And early prototypes are not rapid prototypes. Rapid prototypes we do further early now. So at the very concept stage, even at beyond sketches, we go to 3D modeling quickly, do rapid prototype. We have in-house printers with Kunal and team. We print it out, even the mechanisms. We print out and we test at plastic level that are they going to work or not. Then we do physical working prototypes, which will last on those pressure temperature of steam. We try to give out to our good customers. There are always some good customers who are willing to experiment. They know Forbes Marshall, they are going to be with us. We tell them that, sir, this is a test product, no charges. If it fails, within 1 day, our engineer will be there, we'll replace, take care of it. And we try to go after such. What we do is depending on the complexity of the product, we do monitor number of, so currently there is one product that is going on. All over India, we have mounted 6 of them. Okay. Past 6 months, we are just observing. We haven't launched that product. So having what we did in the 5 years back, which was launching the product for in-house test. Now what we do is 6 months, 6 products are at site. 6 products, you will say very few. Meaning if you were in appliance, you will just roll out 100 or 1,000 and see how things are going. For a Steam user, people would not let you in so easily, right? Their Steam systems are on. They wouldn't say that just put in and put your pump and see how it works. That's not so easy. To get in the pump or the product at site, have it installed, takes a lot of pain. Then what we monitor is number of product months. So all number of products and so many months when they started. And then that we have got, so 60 product months plus is where we say that we have got enough confidence, depending on the complexity. Sorry.
Supervisors, engineers, general managers, purchase department. In certain cases, the user itself will be a machine because right now we are going through the complete automation. Rather than other people, the machine itself will be user. How you are going to get the needs from that machine?
Okay. Someone must be using that machine remotely at least.
So complete automation is a myth.
Yeah.
Okay, we were in US and we were told that this chocolate factory, right, is completely automated. You go inside and you will not see anything. I control it from mobile. It's a lab level thing that people run and then they make a big thing out of it. That's a myth. As Kunal was rightly saying, there has to be some interaction that is happening. If it is at machine level, what we would do is I will put number of sensors. I would put to Eversense. I would see the trends for, I will try to simulate conditions. I will try to see how is the whole setup behaving. I'll put in more number of sensors than I would want. I would put sensors even where I may not be expecting failures. Okay, and it's one experiment setup. You are not doing it. It's a type test that you're doing. Those experiments we have done, the future version of this product is going to come, which we call Everguard. And for that, we are doing for 6 months plus, we are running these tests in-house on similar kind of Steam setups. And we are just observing trends after trends and seeing how failures simulated, how the trends behave. And then what we are trying to do is do with minimum sensors for the final product. Right, thank you.
Yeah.
Last question.
I think you have been doing a lot of field research to go and meet the customers. So we are also just started doing that. But two things which I personally find it very difficult is to ask the questions and the power of observation. Because after asking 4 or 5 questions, suddenly I'm blank. I mean, आगे और क्या पूछने का है इसमें?
You have to observe first and then ask.
So like when we said that observe this image what you have shown. Some people have a super sense of observation. I mean, they can observe very minute things. So, what kind of training or something? Because I think I am not very good at doing that.
We were talking to Professor Atwankar, who probably just left for another session. We were talking exactly same. People like him are rare, that who keep continuously seeing what's the need, what's the pain, and it has to be inculcated. Maybe for that purpose, you have to practice a lot. And what we do, all of us have gone through what Japanese, very easily, it comes to them 5 is Kaizen. When we visited Japan and tried, this was in the other context, and we asked that, how come so easily? How come everyone is so disciplined? They said, to start it wasn't that. It was a hammer and a stick. Okay, you have to follow you. This is the religion kind of thing. If I follow it like a religion day in, day out, and practice that, only then it can happen. So if I may end with saying that why did Newton find gravity under an apple tree? I think, meaning one of my colleagues expressed this to me. He was able to see that only because he was so deeply immersed in that was the incidence required. That's it. Nothing beyond. Thank you.